was just riding a bicycle. Oh, I'm keeping it real, cause I'm keeping it real, cause I'm keeping it real, cause I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it real. I am keeping it real, dog. I'm keeping it real, homie. I am keeping it real. I am keeping it the real, as the girl from what's it called? Teen Titans would say. How many fucking rappers use the word tempestuous? Tempestuous. Oh, go! How's it going, man? Oh, you keeping it real too? Because I'm keeping it real. Well, I guess you don't wait. Because I'm keeping it real. Are you keeping it real? Some crazy shit's going on, wouldn't you say? What part is your favorite right now? What part has all of your attention? I'm really stuck on, like, you know, it really doesn't matter. Heading to Home Ranch. Must be nice. Rich guy. You know, I know it, you know, we talk about the same stuff all the time, but to me, like, the rest of the shit is just pointless. It doesn't matter what, you know, what you see or think or what gets talked about. If you're not in the position to where you're going to receive it, or, you know, you have the possibility of being positively affected by the thing, or at least just see, like, it's really weird, you know? Like, if you go into it going, well, I think this way and there's nothing that can change my mind, well, then it's fucking pointless. Building Horse Ranch has most of our attention. Yeah. Quaving and Chauncey Billups and, yeah, so what? You're not asking for the files anywhere, but to me the files are such a joke. The Epstein files. And that's what I mean, like, unless we deal with gotta get this boogie. Unless we deal with the reality behind, you know, what we think and why we think the way we do, then it won't matter. Like, we could get all the Epstein information in the world. We could get every file possible. If you're not willing to call out the chosen aspect of this and the Israeli interference, and if you're not willing to see this for what it is, then it doesn't matter what you know, how much of the show you're given. It's a show. You know, you see what they want you to see. You believe what they want you to believe. And until you're willing to pass that, it doesn't matter. The insanity of everything going on right now is just, I mean, it's positive in some regards, right? Because it shows you that this system is really, like, desperate and feeling the pressure and worried about what the Goyim are doing. But at the same time, it still sucks to live through and see and, you know is being done to my fellow brothers and sisters, my fellow Goyim brothers and sisters. You know, I don't want anybody to be fucked up. Other than pedophiles, I think a solution can be found that doesn't include violence. I don't think there's a solution to pedophilia that doesn't involve violence. I think that is, and I'm never going to back down or never going to, like I fully encourage people to be as violent and murderous as you can be when it comes to pedophilia, to pedophiles. I mean, obviously, the more you do, the more danger you put yourself in, and that's the catch-22 there is, to fix the problem, you have to put yourself in a position, and then your whole family's fucked and all that, and you don't want to do that. But, I'll never condemn somebody for executing a pedo, for beating down a pedo, for anything like that, like extorting a pedo. Anything you can do to them, I suggest you do it. If you can bleed them dry, you catch them and you don't put them on the web, but you tell them, look, I'll put you all over the web if you don't make $1,000 payments to me every week. I'm okay with that. I don't feel bad about that at all. Do that. I guarantee if you take that fucker's money, he's not going to be able to do what he does. I just, we have to be solution focused. And it just doesn't seem like people are solution focused. It seems like people are reactionary and, foolish. Done made the news. The nationals. What's done made the national news? What is you talking about? The last thing they ever do is give me that one window. You give me one piece, and I'm going to run with it. You give me one opportunity, and I'm going to exploit it. I've been watching bad American Idol X Factor auditions the last couple days. And yeah, I would look like a complete ass if I tried to get up there and be like, near, far, wherever you are. Yeah, they'd laugh at me. But if I got that one opportunity to just rip up the stage, you better believe I fucking would. And I would absolutely make it so my there's benefit that comes from it. It would never just be a one-off thing. I would make an opportunity turn into everything. But they're never gonna let that. So where we moved to? Are you talking about the what did I just see? The Memphis? No, I don't know what you're talking about. I know there was something that had to do, like it was, I don't remember. DeSoto County, Mississippi. 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 I remember learning how to spell that, and it was a thing. What is DeSoto County, Mississippi in the news for this time? I know I saw it. I don't know. I know Coop, our comments about PDFs are getting censored. Yeah, no shit. Did you guys see, I forgot the Coop's latest. Man, there's just so much that I've been want to do, and I've been... Oh yeah, we have to continue with 80 Island today. Yesterday, seriously, talk about just insane, right? Yesterday, I start looking into salt. You know, the conspiracy theory, all of it. I don't know anybody that I've ever seen talk about salt production, you know. And it's just like it's every single thing that you think you know of, or you don't even put any fucking time into. You just think, you know, you think oh yeah, well, that fucking table salt, blah, blah, blah. Like, you don't even think about table salt. You don't even think there's some crazy ass conspiracy behind it. DeSoto pedophiles, huh? I have to look at it. I mean, it's just such a strange thing. Like, we live in this society where it's like, who doesn't think we should kill them? Who thinks that pedophiles should get a second chance and therapy and church this and blah? Which one of you would say something like that? And if you do, then we know who needs to be focused on. Because no non-pedo person has even a little bit of sympathy for pedophiles. But the thing is, I mean, there's just so much to this situation. There's just so much to this narrative. And I am 100% convinced that it's the pedophilia, it's the ritualistic sexual assault, sexual abuse that is at the core of literally all of it. You know, people, at least people like me, you know, I constantly think, like, you know, because I'm told I'm not supposed to blame the entire cult. You know, they always say, you can't blame the cult. You should be focused on Zionism. It's the Zionist. You can't blame the cult, just the Zionist. Yes, I'm running from the cops. Like, you see this, you know, like, people are, like, kind of paying attention, like, out of their peripheral. But, you know, everybody goes, okay, so, you know, clearly they're committing genocide right now. They're in the process of a genocide where they are starving people. They are starving children. You know, they just, it's clear that that's happening. It's clear that they control Hollywood, and that you know, the rape and especially the child rape in Hollywood is an epidemic all its own. Like, it's without a doubt that that's what's happening. It's without a doubt that most people are going to say that. And I think most of you, at the same time, when you realize these things, you ask yourself, like, how the fuck do these people do this? I'm told I'm not supposed to blame the whole cult. But I don't see that the rest of the cult members coming out and saying anything against it, unless it's the occasional, like, the weird broad, the little tiny broad in pink, who's always, you know, the friar broad who wears pink and her whole thing is pink this, pink that, whatever. She opposes Israel, supposedly. But I think the majority of us, we see this and we just go, like, how do you as a people not only rape children, not only commit genocide, but maybe you're not actually doing it, but you know it happens and you keep your mouth shut about it? How do you fucking do that? How are you that, like, that empty as a person, that awful as a person? And I don't think, you know, I don't think people like allow themselves to go into that explanation, because that's an important thing, right? It's important to figure out, like the people here that would say, oh, crash, the people that would want someone to get in a car accident because they're talking bad about pedophiles. Let's think about that. Make that make sense. There's somebody in here crying because they're mad, and they've been here before, because I think we should kill pedophiles. Who the fuck is going to think anything negative about me thinking we should kill pedophiles other than pedophiles? What the fuck? That was really strange. I saw like a work van, like a moving van or something, with like a war scene painted on it. That was really fucking weird. But like I say, there's that mind, that thought process, that like, as you know, for someone like me, I would never, you know, even if it's the J pedo, I'm not gonna wish him to crash. There's way too many variables involved in that. You know, you could hit other people. Your crash could make other people late for work. You could, you know, you cause property. Like, I wouldn't want that. But that's the mentality we're dealing with. And you have to ask yourself, like, how do not just these individuals or these individual profiles, but the people itself, you know, you see the entire culture, the entire cult, consistently crying anytime someone brings up anything of theirs, defending the worst of the behavior that they do. Like, you see it across the board. So you have to ask yourself, what facilitates, what creates that mentality that you could be just such a horrible piece of shit? Like, you know, yeah, your the whole belief structure says that you're the chosen people, and you know, you're superior, blah blah blah, but shouldn't that make you, like, better? Shouldn't you be better than because you're superior, not exponentially worse? Like, where's the cop at? Where's the cop? Cop not gonna be there for that? Nope. Cop never there to get people doing it wrong. But that, you know, so you have to ask yourself, like, what creates such an awful group of human beings? At the end of the day, aren't we all humans? Aren't we all, you know, you see a kid struggling, you're gonna help the kid out. You oppose the idea of an entire population being starved to death while bombs are being dropped on them. That's funny. Like that, the majority of us are like that. And so what can facilitate an entire population being just the worst of the worst? And while being chosen, while being elevated, while having all of the best, you know, $3.8 billion a year given to this murderous cult so they can continue murdering. And that's just the memorandum of understanding, the official government bullshit. That does not include shit like the Secure Community Network that raises $2 billion annually, and all the other, you know, JFNs and J Alliance and J, you know, J Agency and J this and J that and United J this and Federation of J that, and, you know, so much money goes to Israel and the Friar people. And you would think, like, that much Semitism, that much favor, that much grandeur and you know, benefit and ease of life, that would make you better people. That would make your people a just generally better people. And everybody, like, man, it's, you go there and it's just this incredible experience, and you're uplifted, and you see what the potential of human beings are, and, you know, shit like that. You would think that's what it would be. And instead we get the Israel that we all know of, that controls the United States. You see the thing where Vance is standing next to douchebag bitch ass Netanyahu, and the reporter says something about Israel controlling the United States, and then now he's like, "Let me just interrupt you for a second. You know, there are one day you have people saying that Israel controls the United States, and then the next day they'll saying the United States controls Israel, blah blah." And it's like, dude, nobody says the United States controls Israel. No one thinks anything even close to that. No one thinks Trump has any sort of leeway or ability to push big action, and nobody thinks, that's how it works. Even the staunchest, America first, Trump supporter, MAGA dumbasses, they don't think the United States controls Israel. And everything Netanyahu says is a fucking lie. You can't believe anything that piece of shit says. But, you have to ask yourself, like there's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong. There's no difference between us. Maybe you live in a better situation. Maybe you have more money. Maybe whatever. But at the end of the day, we're all just basic human beings. Nobody benefits from Israel and nothing like they don't benefit from Israel expanding. Nobody does except them. And so you see this big picture where you have this disgusting group who is consistently associated with pedophilia, who is, as openly supremacist as anyone is, murderous, psychotic, entitled, and you have to ask yourself, where does this come from? Normally the worst people come out of the worst situations, but this is the exact opposite. This is as good as it can be. The amount of money that they have access to, it's as good as it can be. Look how pretty that is. Look how pretty that is right there. Look how pretty all that is right there. So what's causing it? I know that since I started really focusing on Israel, Hayom, and talking about it on a regular basis, granted, it coincides with the Kirk shooting, but I don't, you want to have a popular feed, man, make Kirk videos. You want to have a popular feed, make Epstein videos. You want to have a popular feed, make Trump is bad videos. You'll be allowed to talk about all kinds of shit. The only things I had Trump interference talking about are hoax, are the vaccines, and everything that has to do with the friars. And so you know, did the signal get all wonky because I came inside? Of course it did. Because it's not a conspiracy. It's just the way it is. Most of you have a fine signal until you go inside your house, and then shit gets all wonky, right? No. So to me, this is the big shit. This is the smoking gun. This is the piece that the glue that pulls it all together. This is how you make this work, and you get the understanding that people are craving. I need some understanding here because this is bullshit, right? But when you say, how do people get to be such horribly savage, incompassionate, Such terrible people, lacking compassion. You know, this is a different one. How do they get to that position? And how does anybody get there? How do you manipulate an entire population into supremacy, into openly doing and saying the worst things possible? How do you get there? Fat boy, get out. Where the spray is. How do you get there? How does that work? And it seems pretty obvious to me. It seems pretty obvious. and you know, I've talked about it for years, but didn't have the physical proof. The proof to say, hey, look, it's right here. If you're wondering what's going on, it's right here. And that's the Israel Hayom Bottom of Darkness article that you can find in slowly over a long time. Yeah, the population itself. Yeah, maybe. I think it requires multiple steps and like in you know, a circular situation. And that's what Israel Hayom points out. Israel Hayom tells anybody who's willing to read it, which is, you know, virtually none of you. How many of you non-friars, non-Israelis subscribe to Israel Hayom? But when you have a culture, an entire cult that its foundation is ritualistic sexual abuse, you know, where as children they're abused. And it's strange too. I mean, it puts all the pieces in place and you just don't think about it. But why do you think friars are considered adults at 13 years old? Adult males. The men are when they turn. I don't know. Are they considered full-fledged women after the bat mitzvah? Why do you think you make your people adults at 13? Just you know, after once they start going through puberty and shit like that. Because even though they're adults at 13, parents still have tremendous influence over them. And when you look at the ritualistic sexual abuse that is done to the children, and you read these horrendous stories, you know, and you just and again, if you go to the Israel Hayom Bottom of Darkness page, it's going to kick you off. I've read several Israel Hayom articles, and it never works this way. But this one article in particular will keep trying to send you to an article titled "Israel Destroys Assad's Syrian Navy," or Syrian Army, Syrian Navy. I can't remember. It's actually really fucking weird because it kicks you off of the truth to sell you a propaganda piece. But it absolutely explains, like it's almost shocking. I mean, it's shocking, yes. It's shocking that they would be so brazen about it. That they would actually publish an article highlighting this shit. Like they're not even embarrassed about it. And when you hear what the good guys have to say and how the good guys justify what the, not just the abuse, but the response to the abuse by saying dumb shit like, you know, the reason why the police don't, gotta be real careful with the water because of the way our neighborhood is and these old ass trees and these clay pipes, the fucking sewage will back up. Twice a year we have to get our drain snaked because if we don't, it backs up, and last night it fucking backed up. Oh, so mad. It's the worst. It's just the worst. So we gotta be super careful about using the water until we can get the plumber to come out. But when you hear the excuses, like the first excuse you'll see when you read the Israel Hayom article, and granted, I'm sure a lot of you are like, he's talking about this again. You're right. Because there are new people that haven't heard this before. And if you want somebody to talk about all the other conspiracies, then go watch the other people that do. Go watch your Nick Fuentes or your Ian Carrolls, your people you're supposed to watch. Ian Carroll is one of the most irritating ones because he's so good. I like Ian Carroll's videos. I like what he does. Do I think he's on the level? No. No, I there's something that isn't right about that narrative. Fix your camera quality. Yeah, okay. Is it better? How can I compete with my signal being fucked with, you dumbski? But ask yourself, like, why is someone like Ian Carroll allowed to say anything he wants and doesn't have to worry about it? And not only is he allowed to say anything he wants, he's exposing secrets. Like he's exposing shit in such a brilliant way that even people like my grandmother would listen to what he has to say. He does a very good job in a non-confrontational way. And he is, well, not as openly, but like he done the Hawaii Pearl Harbor submarine tour. Shit was fake as fuck. Okay. You always have to ask yourself why people come on here and realize what we're talking about and try to change the subject. Doesn't matter what the title of the show is. Yeah. Listen to what's being talked about. Have an opinion on what's being talked about. Let's see. I just want to see. Joined 12 years ago. No subscribers. How many of these commenters, these trolls, have I pointed out to you guys that have joined 12 years ago and have 0 subscribers? Exactly. I think that's a little strange. In these streets. Don't you think that's strange? Do you have the scruff to think that's strange? But like, if you want the diet version, Truth Light, you should go watch Ian Carroll. Hang on a second. Let me share it. Hang on. And people usually have at least one subscriber. Just at least one subscriber. Just at least one. But it's always the same. It's always the same shit, right? So anyway, ask yourself, where did Ian Carroll even come from? You know, if you were to go back and look at my digital footprint, especially if I suddenly made it, if suddenly one of the things one of the songs took off, one of these videos went viral enough to get attention, whatever it is, you would see a clear digital footprint of mine going way back. You would see the clawing and scratching and climbing to get to the position. Instead of, I come out of nowhere, Joe Rogan is posting my videos and decides to have me on the show. They tell you what they are going to do. What are you saying now? I mean, you know, if you go back to March, April of 2023, you'll see my page, you'll see me telling you that October 7th was on the horizon, that the Israelis were going to commit the false flag that was October 7th, where no Israelis were killed or taken hostage. Like I told you this was going to happen. And it wasn't because I'm some psychic. It's because, like Algo says, they tell you what's going to happen, but in a different way. Like, for me, I was the one saying the thing that the Algos were like, no, that's not what's going to happen. Like, they had everybody duped. You argue that it's stupid for them to, and it is, but their hubris requires them to. See, I don't know what you're saying there, right? What do you mean? I think they do. Like, you're just real big on, like, you have to be the big dog, and, you know, it just doesn't work here. And you don't like that, and I get it. But you were the one that was wrong. You were the one saying we should focus in every other direction but Israel. And as far as them telling us what they're going to do, I mean, I don't know what you're saying. Elaborate. If they tell us what they're going to do, then we should be able to predict it. Then we should be able to say specifics and point to things. Like I did with October 7th. I just thought it wouldn't, I was wrong on the time frame. I thought it would happen by December of 2023. I didn't think they were brazen enough to do it as early as October. What's good? Oh, the same old shit. Nothing's good. I find it really hard to exist in this world like that. You know, I find it really hard when people ask me, hey, how's it going? Like, personally, I guess it's okay. You know, I live in a world where where it's wrong to be right, to be good, to be righteous. And that there's a literal genocide taking place right now. And believe me, it has nothing to do with me or my people or my family or anything like that. It's just there's a genocide taking place. There are children being slaughtered and being starved to death, and like it's really, really fucked up. So to be like, yeah, everything's good, man, I'm good. I can't. I can't do that. You know, I can't just be like, everything's good, huh? It's not. Shit's really, really fucked up. Who are you talking to? Oh. I was thinking about this Hurricane Melissa thing. Well, just think about, like, when was the last big hurricane?
Oh, they said this is going to be the worst that Jamaica's ever seen.
But when was the last big one? It's been years, right?
Jamaica, yeah.
No, just in general. When? What was the last? What was the last big, like, Katrina, Andrew kind of thing? We have been so distracted by everything else going on for such a long time. They haven't needed big hurricanes to do whatever. And people have become sort of like, it's almost like you slept on it. You forgot that the earth really hates the United States and consistently sends hurricanes. Last year they had 2 big ones. Where? Who? Nothing like this Melissa one is set to be. And it just feels like you know, oh, did the gambling scandal not distract you? Okay, well, how about this? Imagine how Trump is going to not only respond but milk this fantastic distraction. Why are you concerned about Epstein files when there are people suffering? And I think we should be more questioning of hurricanes. You know, I realize this feed just pivoted pretty substantially. At least partially. But I don't think most people realize that, like, you know, the colonizers and the World War, the Civil Wars and the Louisiana Purchases and you know, all of these historical events that were given. HAARP, harp machines, yes. They don't talk about hurricanes. Do you know that the supposed slave ships that they tell you existed, the slave ships, they followed the hurricane routes apparently? So how were these ships running continuously during hurricane season? Imagine what it would be like. Imagine how terrifying it would be to be out in the ocean in some rickety ass wooden ship with a fucking a whole belly full of slaves that are packed together like sardines. Like, it just doesn't even make any sense. What are you hoping that a bunch of your people die and shit? You don't pack them in like sardines. That's how people get sick. And that journey took months. Months. But let's look this up. Avery Island, I did want to talk about that, but whatever. Hurricane. I'm just looking up hurricane. Tropical cyclone is what it comes up. A tropical cyclone is a rapidly rotating storm system, low pressure, blah, blah, blah. Location. And strength. A typical cyclone is called a hurricane. Typhoon, tropical storm, cyclonic storm, tropical depression, or simply cyclone. Why would it have all those different names? That becomes confusing. I know that when I was a kid, it was in my 20s, 30s, before I realized that, like, when they say a typhoon is hitting the China or whatever, that they're talking about a hurricane. I didn't know that shit. A hurricane is a strong tropical cyclone that occurs in the Atlantic Ocean or northeastern Pacific Ocean. A typhoon is the same thing, which occurs in the northwestern Pacific Ocean. In the Indian Ocean and South Pacific, comparable storms are referred to as tropical cyclones. In modern times, on average, around 80 to 90 named tropical cyclones form each year around the world. 90 named tropical cyclones form each year around the world, over half of which develop hurricane force winds of 70 miles per hour or more. Tropical cyclones typically form over large bodies of relatively warm water. They derive their energy through the evaporation of water from the ocean surface. Yeah, right. This is where it just starts getting stupid. Evaporation, huh? What? Is there does a different amount of water get evaporated on different times, different days and shit? And how can enough water be being evaporated to feed a hurricane, to continue to make that water fall and all? Like, it's something else is going on. This explanation doesn't make sense. The energy source. They derive their energy from evaporation of water from the ocean surface, which ultimately condenses into clouds and rain when moist air rises and cools to saturation. What is speeding up the evaporation process to the hurricane to have so much energy and water at its disposal? I think I'm just, maybe this will be the thing that helps you, because I've been questioning rain, the weather, for a lot longer than you have. I've been questioning the legitimacy of it, the whole notion of evaporation, condensation, precipitation. One of those mantras that we learn as young kids, like the earth is round and the moon, and like these are these things that exist in our society that are like extremely complicated, extremely faith-based. And we just pretend it to understand, yeah, it's evaporation. Like the average everyday person acts like they're some sort of expert. Oh yeah, dude, it rains because the sun evaporates the water. That makes sense to you? What makes it rain? It's not like the water droplets condense and condensation happens and then water droplets get to a specific size and then they fall. Oh, look, some dumbass says Christ is king. There you go. Christ is king. Fucking stupid. God is the answer, really. To who? To what? Like what kind of dumbass are you talking about? Are you talking about? But take stock in what you. White clouds don't rain. Purple clouds rain, but not always. And again, it's not like the water droplets get to a certain size and then they fall. There can be, the sideways stinging rain or big old fat rain. right? Like there's all different sizes of rain. So there's not a specific size that makes it fall. Belch. I mean, you get shit like snowstorms. You know, it's gonna snow 3 feet. Blah blah blah. What produced all of that water? That cloud system had to be consistently producing water to make it fall. The sun isn't evaporating. It's cold in the northern hemisphere. It's tipped away. It's snow everywhere. The sun isn't evaporating water to accommodate for the snow. It doesn't make sense, but you just, you just believe it because it's one of these narratives that we're given that we just don't question. And you're not encouraged to ask questions because they know it'll get it'll start fucking up real quick. Like your average Christian, right? Don't you think if Christianity was real, they would encourage you to ask questions? They would encourage you to anything you didn't understand or you didn't quite believe or whatever. They would be like, no, here, let's talk about it. Because there's an easy explanation and let's it literally never works that way. They're literally as embarrassing and weak-minded as it gets. Trust the science. Exactly. I learned it did the water cycle in like 4th grade. You probably learned it before that. But isn't it funny how people say this shit like that's somehow an answer to the question? I was indoctrinated into this belief structure at a very, very early age. Yeah, of course you were. Because if they waited till you were an adult, you wouldn't believe it. You'd see all the holes. Well, let's see. Let's keep going here. Actually, I just want to go to the history of it. There is no history. Definition and terminology. Pressure, depending on the location, different names. Formation, interactions with climate, intensity, classification and naming, structure, movement, effects, observation and forecasting, awareness and response, extraterrestrial tropical cyclones. What the fuck is an extraterrestrial tropical cyclone? Limited research has been conducted on the possibility of tropical cyclogenesis on other worlds. Polar vortexes with structures similar to tropical storms have been found on other planets in the solar system, such as Venus. Venus's north polar vortex and Saturn's hexagon. I'm going to just jump here because I want to talk about the Saturn hexagon and how stupid you are. It was just a dream. This is the ad that I'm getting. Look at who gave me the ad. Gee, I wonder if he's chosen. You guys think he's chosen? Let's see what this says. October 27th. Readers in the U.S. deserve an explanation. Please don't skip this 1-minute read. It's Monday, October 27th, and at this moment, this moment matters for Wikipedia. If you're like me, you've used Wikipedia countless times to settle an argument with a friend, to satisfy curiosity, to better understand the world around us. Whether it's 3 in the morning or the afternoon, Wikipedia is useful in your life. Please give $2.75. Wikipedia has been around since 2001. Yet it wasn't until 2010 that they needed Israel to tell them how to edit, how to teach them how to edit. Oh, here we go. If you read the Bible and even the Quran, a lot more would make sense to you. Give me one thing. You you dumb Christians always say dumb shit like that. But then when asked to elaborate, you have nothing. You're not going to bring anything to the table that makes any sense. You can always say these blanket arguments. Blanket arguing is easy. It's when you can, when it comes down to specifics that people just fall apart. Back then, it was just a dream, a wildly ambitious, probably impossible dream, but it came together piece by piece. And for all that time, Wikipedia stayed free. We do not run ads. We rely on the support of everyday readers. Only 2% ever donate. But that small group makes a big difference. When you support Wikipedia, you're standing up for something simple but profound. That knowledge should belong to everyone, unless, of course, it goes against Israel. You're an idiot. You call us names, but you won't engage in arguments. Here we go again. How am I not engaging? And what arguments am I not engaging in? I literally just asked the person who said the statement to elaborate on their statement. I never ask anybody to agree with me. I only ask you to disagree with me and then tell me why you disagree. I appreciate the support. I assume if you're here and you're not arguing, then you believe and you support. I don't need you to pat me on the back. But I literally only want you to sit here and tell me what I'm getting wrong. That doesn't mean your arrogant ass is going to say I'm getting something wrong and I'm just going to go, oh, okay, well, then I guess you said it, so that must make it true. No. I have more than one argument to validate whatever my claims may be. What are your claims then? You're incoherent. Yup. I'm incoherent. You can't understand what I'm saying. Jimmy Wales, founder of Wikipedia. We're going to have to look that up. If you believe this is a real picture, you're a fucking moron. This isn't real. This isn't real. Do you realize how stupid this is? Saturn's hexagon is a persistent, approximately hexagonal cloud pattern around the north pole of the planet Saturn, located at about 78 degrees north. The sides of the hexagon are about 14,500 kilometers, 9,000 miles long, which is about 1,200 miles longer than the diameter of the Earth. That's how big this thing is. The hexagon may be a bit more than 18,000 miles wide, may be 190 miles high, and may be a jet stream made of atmospheric gases moving at 200 miles per hour. It rotates within a period of 10 hours, 39 minutes, and 24 seconds. Oh, come on. You ever seen what planets and stars look like through telescopes? They don't look like what NASA shows you. They look like if you're standing outside of a pool and you look down at the lights like it's nighttime and you try to like focus on it, but it ripples with the that's what stars look like through telescopes. You're definitely not zooming in to watch the Saturn hexagon rotate down to the second. Oh, did you time it? Yeah, it rotates every 10 hours, 39 minutes, and 24 seconds. Exactly. It's this kind of shit where it's like their arrogance disproves them. You know, it's such a joke to say that this hexagon that is way bigger than the Earth itself, way bigger, that they're able to document how fast it rotates down to the second. Do you understand how stupid? Oh, here we go. Schizobabble. Gotta love it. This is what they do. They can't argue with what I say, literally with anything. And I'm telling you, the idea of mental illness is the foundation of the Friar defense system. The only argument they have for any sort of legitimacy of their own thing is that if you don't believe it, you're crazy. You need meds. You're schizophrenic. You're whatever it is. That's literally all they can ever come up with. And you should ask yourself, like, why, if I'm wrong, why don't you just focus on what's wrong instead of using these same auto-emancipation tactics? But they can't. This is all they have. The same period as Saturn's radio emissions from its interior. Saturn's radio emissions. What? Saturn is the source of a rather strong low frequency radio emissions called Saturn kilometric radiation. The frequency of SKR lies in the range of 10 to 1300 kilohertz, wavelength of a few kilometers. Kilometers. With the maximum around 400 hertz. I mean, isn't that basically like, or is it 432 hertz is the thing? I can't remember. The power of these emissions is strongly modulated by the rotation of the planet and is correlated with changes in the solar wind pressure. For instance, when Saturn was immersed into a giant magneto tail of Jupiter during Voyager 2 flyby in 1981. Oh God, think about how ridiculous that is. Think about 1981 technology. Think about computers in 1981. Think about cars in 1981. Televisions in 1981. VCRs in 1980. Whoa, VCRs weren't invented yet, I don't think. Maybe the beta was. Telephone technology, because I guess there were cell phones back then, like bag phones that were so rare nobody ever knew, nobody ever had them. But think about the technology that we had available to us, not just in 1981. I mean, you'd have to assume that Voyager 2 satellite was probably first conceived, 5-10 years earlier, I don't know. But was outfitted with, like, by the time it flew by Jupiter, it had already been flying for a long time. So it's at least, 70s technology. Think about what that is. And you believe that they were doing things that we're not doing now. I'm not disagreeing. You're wrong. If you studied the Bible, you wouldn't be. See, this is what you're so stupid. Again, why don't you elaborate instead of saying blanket dumb comments? Elaborate. Pick one thing that the Bible says that makes sense, and let's go with that. How about that? How about you just pick one thing that the Bible says that totally provable, easy, obvious? I mean, you believe we're given technology at this rate? It's invented by the same by the time they want to allow us to have it. Do you believe we're given technology at the rate it's invented or by the time they want us to have it? I mean, it's pretty obvious. You know, I'm sure it's a both. You know, there are, you know, we are the amazing ones. The friars, the chosen, are who control things, and they aren't creative. They aren't inventing things. They aren't making things better. They're the ones who facilitate whether that information gets to us or not. Like if somebody invents something like that Meyer guy in the 80s who built the car, ran on water, and immediately started receiving all sorts of threats and shit. And then so he was going to a meeting with government agents, I think, or maybe it was distributors, whatever. And as he took a drink from his water, he put it down and said, "Oh, they poisoned me," jumped up and ran out, died in the street. All of his information was consequently gone, and the water car disappeared. Like, we invent things all the time. Solar road technology. What about that garbage cleanup machine? Remember that shit? 2016, 17, 19, I don't even remember when it was. But that kid invents the machine that can clean the garbage in the ocean. And they're expecting it to clean like 100 million pounds or whatever it is. And this is something this kid, this teenager, early 20 kid invents like on his own. He doesn't have like full government backing or anything. And after a couple of weeks or whatever, the machine breaks down, cleans up 2 million pounds, but doesn't at all reach its goal. And the program has to be shut down. Did you hear that the government jumped on board? And is what about that plastoline guy? That colored fella that's making, you know, the plastic, had built that machine in his backyard that turns plastic into petroleum, into gasoline. How come the government isn't going, "Holy shit, young man, you are brilliant. We want to bring this technology to the people. Here, let us openly, transparently buy this shit up from you and then bring you on as a consultant and have you work, and let's bring this technology to the people"? Why doesn't that happen? But when it comes to like our historical narrative, it's clearly fake. And that's what I was saying yesterday and even today is like, even when it comes down to something as simple as table salt, the narrative we're given just don't make no sense. And most things exist, you know, most of the things that are in our world come from the 1800s, but specifically the 1880s and onward. And the world that we're told existed, you know, the world that was having the Civil War with our muskets, pew, pew, pew. We're also supposedly building, you know, monumental structures and traversing over large areas of the world and, you know, just all this shit. And people just don't, you know, you just don't put enough thought into it. Obviously, our system doesn't work for us. And you saw like Ian Carroll's latest videos are leaning into this, at least the latest videos I've seen, really leaning heavily into the idea that the bankers run the world, the bankers. But when you say bankers, that just opens it up. That doesn't, that's anybody. And it's clearly not the bankers. It's clearly, like Ethan said, our history is a completely manufactured bullshit narrative, which I doubt any of it's true. I doubt any George Washington ever existed. I doubt Napoleon ever existed. I doubt, any of those bullshit characters. Jesus definitely didn't exist. Alexander the Great and Socrates and these, I highly doubt these people existed, especially in the way that we think they did. Mind Unveiled put out a really great video. I still haven't gotten through it. But their latest video is like 4 hours long. It's amazing. I wish they made more long videos like that because they're really good. But it's interesting to hear him getting to the point where I've been trying to get him to for a long time. Like I've always asked him, how do you know which things you believe? Which parts of the narrative you believe? As soon as you accept the idea of resets, and that more than likely there was a reset, somewhere in the 1700s to as late as like the 1900s. I don't even know. Like I'm sort of confused on that part, but clearly something else is different. But once you understand that there's a reset, at least one, then anything they tell you that happened before the reset is bullshit. And really anything that happened afterward is bullshit because the history doesn't tell you about the reset. Jesus' gospel was true. That's why crucified. It's so stupid. It's just so stupid. I just don't even understand. Why do you believe that? Because the story the Jews wrote for them, their fairy tale, nothing but Jewish main characters. The only time us Christians, you Christians, us Goyim are mentioned is separately. The Gentiles. It's not us Gentiles, it's those Gentiles. Clearly it's not the Gentile perspective. And every main character in the Bible is friar, including your good buddy Jesus. What don't you guys understand about that? I mean, it's just so fucking insane that you guys don't get it. You believe in this belief structure that says you, the believer, you, the Christian, isn't even your Christian God's main favorite people. The main favorite people of your Christian God are a completely different religion that hates you. They hate you. And they killed your Jesus. Yet somehow you accept the notion that they are your Christian God's chosen people. And if you say you don't believe that or you don't accept that, well, then you're not a very good Christian, are you? Woo! Stood up a little too fast that time. Like, it's just wild. It's fucking wild how crazy you are. How you have been brainwashed into believing just the dumbest shit. And when you look at the way the world works today, the Bible's never been more relevant. And not that there are these, it's the end times like people love to say and always have said and always will. It's not that. It's the idea that that the non-friars are just the dumb slaves that if you believe that your God thinks of you as the secondary people and that the other group, this one specific group, is your Christian God's chosen people. But when you look at your America God, your president, your leadership, when your American leadership tells you that a different country, we're not supposed to, it's America first, except for Israel. Israel first, then America first. When your America is telling you that Israel is more important than Americans, that's what you've been programmed with by the Bible. And it's the exact same beneficiaries. It just so happens that the Bible is all about Israel and the Jays, just like our government. What do they say? 80 to 90% of Congress is controlled by AIPAC. Like it's not even hidden anymore. And you see that it's that's why people are like, oh, it's end times. That's why people have this connection to the Bible, but then they can't explain what it is. That's what it is. You're literally watching as your American God favors the chosen people over the Americans. Don't you get it? Or how about this? Instead of don't you get it, tell me what I'm wrong about. Tell me how I'm misinterpreting. Because I'm the one that's so terrified of confrontation and argument. That is Judaism, not Christianity. What are you even talking about? Most of you Christians don't even know what your Bible says. Why? Because you're too smart. What? Because it's 2025, and as soon as you start reading the Bible and really getting into it, you're going to go, this is fucking dumb. This doesn't make any sense, and this doesn't make any sense, and you don't make any sense, and you don't make any sense. And as soon as you really start reading, you go, oh man, this is starting to shake my foundations because I'm not this stupid. So you just close it and you go, no, forget it, I'm not going to read it. Here it goes, being anti-Semitic. I'm all for the Palestinian people. They are the Semitic ones. You flat out dumbass. Now, if you were to say, there he goes again with his anti-Semitism, you'd be right. Yes, I do not believe in friar supremacy. And if you look up the definition of Semitism, number 1A is Semitic qualities. Number 1B is Semitic characteristic occurring in other language. A Semitic feature occurring in other language. Semitic characteristic occurring in other language. But number 2 is policy or predisposition favorable to Jews. That's literally the Merriam-Webster definition of Semitism. Anti-Semitism for at least 135 years, because it was apparently originally coined in the 1880s in Germany somewhere. But for around 135 years, it was spelled ANTI hyphen capital SEMITISM. In 2021, 2020 or 2021, I always forget, they had hearings, or I'm not really sure. I don't know what the precedent is to say a word is spelled wrong. We need to change the spelling of a word internationally. And so they did whatever it takes, legislation, whatever you want to call it, necessary to change the spelling from ANTI hyphen capital SEMITISM to ANTISEMITISM. All one word, all lowercase. And they're given reason for changing the spelling after all these years, and meaning that you know, all the documentation, all the everything that you know, the knowledge base has to then be gone back through and re-edited. All the anti-Semitisms with the hyphen and the capital S, they all have to be, like, it creates a lot of work. It creates confusion. It creates, you know, division, all these things. They're given reason for all of this was because they didn't want people, Goyim, believing that anti-Semitism opposed something called Semitism. They didn't want us to realize that Semitism was a thing. It wasn't about the real. They didn't want you to look up the definition of Semitism, because the vast majority of you are going to rely on the Webster's dictionary like you have for everything else. Yeah, dictionary.com doesn't have nearly the credibility, you know, the prestige as Webster's. Webster's is the dictionary, right? Gosh, I'd love to find an old dictionary and look up Semitism. That'd be cool. Yeah, that's miserable. With gold in your life. Yes, because I'm so miserable. Look at how desperate these idiots are, right? This guy has said the same thing multiple times, and I've asked them, look, just give me one thing. Just pick one thing. If believing in God means you're that ignorant that you can't even answer simple questions, that you can't give a simple response, you're just like, duh. I'm going to ignore all this other stuff. I don't want anything to do with that. Sorry. You might like being stupid, but I'm not a fan of it. I love how he speaks for everyone. He's so smart. No, I'm just smarter than you. It's funny how, like, every time I do this and I really start showing my knowledge base, because nothing I'm saying is false, and the only way you could know these things is if you educated yourself. They always say shit like, oh, well, he thinks he knows everything, okay? That's just you acknowledging that I'm smarter than you. You're shocked by how much I know. That's why you say something like that. I don't say it. I consistently say there are plenty of holes in my game. There are plenty of things that I don't know about. You're the ones that constantly suggest that I know everything. No need for the mental gymnastics. You can just admit it's what's plain as... Hey, no need for knowledge. No need for receipts. I should be like you guys and just make baseless claims without any understanding of what I'm saying. That makes more sense. Seriously, this is the best I ever get. This is not your toy cow. Like, you guys can't, like, it's so funny because you're too stupid to realize that you're admitting how stupid you are. I say this every time. None of these idiots are sitting on this really great argument. They're just waiting for the right time to unleash it. This is the best they can do. Get out, cop. Well, you can play. You guys are cool, right? You guys don't have issues together. Stop. Aren't you two cool? You two are cool. The two random animals get along, right? The random animals? You know, the cow, the turtle.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Back to Saturn. The kilometric radiation is thought to be generated by the cyclotron maser instability, which is red, so you don't get to actually look up what that is, of the electrons moving along magnetic field lines related to the auroral regions of Saturn. Thus, the SKR is related to the auroras around the poles of the planet. The radiation itself comprises spectrally diffused. The radiation itself comprises spectrally diffuse emissions as well as well as narrowband tones with bandwidths as narrow as 200 hertz. In the frequency, time plane arc-like features are often observed, much like in the case of the Jovian kilometric radiation. The total power of the SKR is around 1 gigawatt. I mean, this is just dumb. I'm sorry, but it's just dumb. I hate getting into this shit. I mean, I know I'm looking up this part, you know, the hexagon on Saturn. But literally, to sit here and argue about this when nobody has any sort of access to anything other than what we're told, it's almost pointless. You know, it's the only thing you can do in this situation is look at what is presented and ask yourself how much it makes sense. Saturn's hexagon. The hexagon does not shift in longitude like other clouds in the visible atmosphere. Saturn's hexagon was discovered during the Voyager mission in 1981. It was later revisited by Cassini-Huygens in 2006. During the Cassini mission, the hexagon changed from a mostly blue color to more of a golden color. Saturn's south pole does not have a hexagon as verified by Hubble observations. It does, however, have a vortex, and there is also a vortex inside the northern hexagon. Multiple hypotheses for this hexagonal cloud pattern have been developed. Saturn's polar hexagon was discovered by David Godfrey in 1987 from piecing together flyby views from the 1981 Voyager missions. So wait a minute. It took at least 6 years for them to notice that this giant hexagon fucking shape? Like, what? I thought there was pictures and shit. Like, this sounds like the manufacturing of a narrative. It doesn't sound like the truth. It sounds like some bullshit you'd have to be a fucking moron to accept. And was revisited 2006 by the Cassini mission. Cassini was able to take only thermal infrared images of the hexagon until it passed into sunlight in January 2009. Why wasn't it in sunlight prior to that? What? Cassini was also able to take a video of the hexagonal weather pattern while traveling at the same speed as the planet, therefore recording only the movement of the hexagon. How fast was the planet traveling? What is this? It sounds like a fairy tale. Exactly. It just doesn't even sound like reasonable. Like this is science. This is fucking astrophysics. And what are you, an astronaut? What are you, a rocket scientist? This is rocket science and shit. After its discovery and after it came back into the sunlight, amateur astronomers managed to get images showing the hexagon from Earth, even with modest-sized telescopes. Oh, I'd love to see this. Self-published sources. Oh no, that's I thought if I clicked on it, it would show me. You can get mad all you want. Makita and Nicholas's image of Saturn from January 26, 2013. This is effectively upside down with North Pole and hexagon at the bottom of the image. Oh yeah, because that makes sense. That looks real to you, doesn't it? Are you fucking serious? Where are all the moons? Where are all the stars? Here's a polar reprojection of Makita's image using the WinJupos, Jupos software, RGB color image on the left, and just the red channel of on the right. So the black and white image must be the actual image, I guess. This is what with with our technology, because the thing couldn't fly any different. It couldn't fly closer. It couldn't fly in a different way. It couldn't fly in a different direction, and it had to come into the sunlight. Saturn's hexagon was as viewed by Cassini. Oh, here you go. That's fucking believable, isn't it? Do you believe that? Do you believe that's a real image from a satellite out in space? Where's the construction photos of the Hubble telescope? Bet it would be if... Where's all the test footage from Hubble? Where's all the test footage and tests, whatever, from the James Webb Space Telescope? The James Webb Space Telescope is one of the dumbest lies. Like, it as dumb as Hubble may be, the James Webb Space Telescope is just as... It's as stupid as it gets. Like, it really... The whole space program... Images from it's all so bad and stupid, and it requires that 50s 60s America where America's the best, and there's none. You want us to run out and get a shot because you say there's a swine flu even though there's not? Let's go, we're out there. They just So these images are the ones where I was supposed to be clicking on images from Earth. January 26, 2013, image of Saturn obtained by husband and wife team. Oh, that's what these are. Oh, okay. Daryl Fitzner, Milkia, and Patricia Nicholas from South Australia. Vertices of Saturn's North Pole hexagon can clearly be seen. North is downward. Why? Why would north be down? Why would it be upside down? For the first time, amateur astronomers are capturing spectacular images of Saturn's bizarre North Pole hexagon. Back in 2007, the Cassini spacecraft was in its first high inclination phase around Saturn, and he gave us our first glimpses of Saturn's North Pole. Hidden from Earth's view in the darkness of winter, we used thermal infrared imaging from the Cassini composite infrared spectrometer instrument to measure the emission from the polar atmosphere and observed bizarre hexagonal wave feature. Observe the bizarre hexagonal wave feature that borders the northern pole region at 78.7 north planetographic latitude. Planetographic. At the same time, Cassini VIM's visual and infrared mapping spectrometer observed the hexagon in Saturn's deep clouds, also in thermal infrared light, showing that the wave is an extended feature from the deep clouds all the way up to the top of the troposphere. If you think we can we can see Saturn from Earth, you're just dumb. I'm sorry. This was a rediscovery of the hexagon, first observed in the reflected sunlight by Voyager in early 1980s. And later in 1990-91 by professional astronomers using the 1.04 meter diameter observatory. Open-minded. Absolutely don't fall for that dumb troll. Those reflected sunlight observations were in northern summertime conditions, whereas Cassini was viewing the hexagon during northern winter, confirming that this is a long-lived wave, present for at least a Saturnian year and relatively undisturbed by the relentless march of Saturn's seasons. The origins of the wave are still in doubt, and I won't try to cover the competing theories here. Saturn passed through the northern spring equinox in August 2009, such that the North Pole has been slowly emerging into spring sunshine ever since. Why would it be dark? Like, it must have a pretty substantial tilt that the entire North Pole disappears. The North Pole on the bottom. Oh, is it on the bottom because the viewers were in Australia? Is that literally why? Because they're upside down, so everything's upside down? Is that literally what they're trying to say? Saturn passed. In a talk with the Division of Planetary Science meeting in Reno last year, I pointed out that amateur observations of the planet have reached such a high quality that they would now be able to map Saturn's hexagon from a backyard telescope. We even talked about a competition for the first observer to do so, but we're too late. Although it's very early in the 2013 apparition of Saturn, i.e., it's still very low in the sky, particularly for European observers. Husband and wife team Daryl blah, 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 have been able to capture this stunning image in Saturn from down in Oz. In Daryl's words, I'm really happy that I could be so lucky as to grab such an image of Saturn so early in the apparition. Was that decent? What funny? Normally I get called clothesline for not playing the mainstream narrative. Their observations were taken just outside a little hamlet called Palmer, on the edge of who gives a fuck. They were using a Celestron C-14, observing Saturn at an elevation of 51.8 degrees above the horizon. They were testing out a new CMOS-based planetary camera. ZW Optical is, I'm not reading it, which has very high sensitivity and low noise, helping them capture these crystal clear images. Dale tells me they were very, very lucky to get these images, as clouds were racing in from the west and about to drown them out. They got one RGB set and just a partial second set before the clouds completely torpedoed their early morning mission. So why not just try again tomorrow? Oh shit. An admitted friar who doesn't care about Jewish children and is clearly a pedophile rapist is here. Cody Cohen. Cody Cohen, the proud pedophile, is here. Who gives a shit what the fuck this piece of shit has to say? This is a pedophile who doesn't even care. Like, we're going backwards here, but understand that I am the loudest voice for Jewish children in the world. Which is sad because I only have 10 viewers. But I'm the one that I know that's standing up for the Jewish children because I don't know anybody else talking about this. It's definitely not a whole bunch of Jewish people coming out and demanding that Matitza B'Pei be eliminated, demanding that the bottom of darkness shit be eliminated. No. These are disgusting, horrible people who are only concerned with their own personal salvation, transcendence, whatever it may be. And understand that their whole cult is based in pedophilia. That's how it all works out. That's how you have a group of people who, I mean, seriously, you can find endless videos of friars interacting with civilians protesting the genocide. Like regular people who have no stake in the matter. You know, it's not like I have Palestinian land or Palestinian family or anything like that. Regular people who see an atrocity happening and they're speaking out against it. And friars come out of nowhere and cause problems and, you know, just horrible shit. You can find endless videos like that. You won't find any videos of friars condemning Matitza B'Pei. You won't find any videos of friars talking about the bottom of darkness and how they absolutely need to eliminate the ritual sexual abuse that is everywhere in Israel, top to bottom, right to left, Hasidic to conservative, or to secular. All across the spectrum, it's in every community. Like it's just shocking.